Good evening. I'm going to call the November 9th, 2022, and a meeting to order. I am here, Jamie Puccioni, Councilmember Brennan, Councilmember McPartlin, Councilmember Moskowitz, Town Attorney Finnan, Eric Amberger, Seth Goldstein, Elizabeth Greenwood, Chief Koshin, Laura Robertson, Ray Smith, Matt Yetto. All right, before moving on, we wish to respectfully acknowledge that Niskayuna is on the traditional lands of the Kanekahaka and the Mahikanac peoples, past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the peoples who have stewarded this land throughout generations. All right, moving on to the Public Works Committee.
Okay, the first item is a resolution for a fence easement agreement for 5 Bergen Place. I know we were waiting on this one, on the status of the closing, I believe, on the property.
Yes, so I don't know what the status is yet, but we're working on getting that answer. And if the property's been closed on, then we'll proceed with the easement agreement for this month's meeting. If not, it should be December.
Okay. The next item is a resolution to appoint an engineering tech in the engineering office. We've been interviewing for quite some time, and we finally have a good candidate. We're looking forward to hiring this person and filling out our staff that we need to support the engineering office and water and sewer. 3 is a tentative resolution to authorize a contract with Dish Network. We met with Dish Network recently. Some of the details have been worked out as far as when we have to do maintenance on our water tanks. They've agreed to accommodate that and remove their equipment as needed. And then also one other thing that they have agreed to do is remove some old existing equipment that was left behind from prior cell companies. I think Elaine is still working on the final details, and she has an update.
They sent over a draft after our meeting. I believe it was maybe even yesterday. They sent it over. It was recently this week, so I haven't had a chance to review it, but I don't know if it'll be on for this meeting just because we're close in time. The meeting's earlier this month. So again, if it's ready in time, I'll have it on, but if not, then it will be on for December.
What do we do about the lease terms as far as, looking at that contract and the fees that are charged?
That's part of the reason why I don't know if it's going to be ready in time for this meeting. It's because I'm still waiting for the other agreements that we have to kind of assess what we're charging the others and where this is in line with that, making sure that over time, that they're not paying the same thing that they were 20 years ago.
Right, great, thank you. Yeah, we got to keep an eye on that. Thank you.
Number 4 is a resolution to approve an MOA with the Water and Sewer Collective Bargaining Unit regarding adding some flexibility to how we allow them to use their comp time. It just was not a very well thought out part of the contract. This helps fix some of those limitations. 5 is a resolution to authorize the purchase of a pump for the Valerie Drive pump station. I know we purchased one recently for this station, but I was looking at my budget. I still have some additional money in a line that we have earmarked for pump station improvements. So I'd like to buy a second pump for that station. Let's see. 6 is a resolution to award a contract for a water line extension on Avon Crest Boulevard. I've gotten at least one quote from a contractor. I expect a second one tomorrow. It's the dollar amount is less than the required amount for bidding, so we just require a resolution from the board. The town would be providing the materials for the work. 7 was to be a resolution to allow us to purchase the materials for that project, but because of the scope of the work and some updated numbers that I have received, it falls within my purchasing policy limitations, so we don't need the resolution. 8 is a resolution to award a contract to replace a tapping sleeve on a 20-inch water main at the corner of Agostino Drive and Rosendale Road. That's an issue that we know that is, it's a long-term issue. We did a repair last winter. Was it to be a temporary repair, but it held up much longer than we expected. We don't want to risk our luck, and we want to take care of it before winter hits. So this is the hiring a contractor to come in, excavate down, and do a permanent repair on this. I do have quotes for this work as well. 9 is a resolution. I originally made a mistake at the Public Works Committee meeting. It's authorized second quarter corporate utility reconciliation. I think I misspoke and said the warrant for that. So it's just the standard reconciliation. Kathy, Chris has worked up the numbers. Chris Lachinsky and Kathy has checked those, and we're happy with the information.
Matt, on the finance, it said third quarter warrant.
That's another.
That's another
one. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's down below.
Right.
I have that added. Let's see. 10 is a resolution to approve corrections to certain water bills. A property on Van Rensselaer Drive had an overestimated bill. The balance on the account now is $12.15, but we have to do a resolution to refund the $12.15. It's a lot of work for $12.15, but it's
Got to
It's
do what
required,
we
yep.
got to do.
the next one was also another correction or modification to a water bill or a sewer bill. Has to do with Van Antwerp Village Apartments. They had a large water break on their site. They have a large water bill because of that, but they're asking for a reduction in their sewer bill, which is based on their water consumption, because their claim was that the water didn't go into the sewer. I don't believe that is 100% accurate, because the proximity of the water break was next to the sewer lateral. So I think it's fair to say that about 50% of the water that that went through the meter, in addition to what their normal consumption would be, did go into the sewer. So I believe it was discussed at Public Works that a 50% reduction in the additional amount that they saw as far as a bill would be warranted. I don't see giving them back the full amount. Their sewer bill was 6 times greater than it normally is. So this would reduce it down to a more realistic number.
Right. Well, you would know best, right?
Yeah,
engineering wise of what,
Yeah.
went into the system and what did not.
I was on site. I opened up a couple of manhole covers during the break. You could clearly see water entering into our sewer. Not all of it, but I think it's fair to say at least 50% of it. $11 is a resolution to award a contract for the service and repair of our channel grinder at our wastewater plant. We received a quote. We don't like the quote. We think it's high. So we're going to reach out to additional contractors, break the work up into more manageable groups, and maybe possibly do some of the work in-house as well. So if I do get quotes back prior to the meeting, I'll have that on here. If not, we may push that to next month. We're going to try to do a good portion of that in-house.
That's probably going to have to be on for next month.
Next month?
Yeah. The
Okay.
deadline's today for.
Okay. So
the
it will be
packet
for next
for-
month. Okay. 12, I did receive a quote for the repair of a sump pump line at the sewer plant. It ended up coming in far less than I expected, so I do not require a resolution for that. 13 is a resolution to approve additional maintenance on the UV system. I'm going to have to wait till next month on that as well. We're still looking at the service report from the last time that the tech was on site for that, and we don't have good numbers yet for that, so I'll wait for next month on that as well. And 14 is a resolution to award a contract for the repair of a water leak at the water treatment plant. I mentioned this at Public Works. It's on a line at the plant which is 15 feet deep. So it requires a contractor with the equipment to be able to go that deep safely. I did have a quote, but that may have to change because the scope of the work is unclear because we're not exactly sure what the leak is. It's a very small leak, but once we expose it, we may end up having to cut a piece of pipe out, which would expand the scope of the work. So I don't know if this should be handled as an emergency because I don't know how much it's going to cost until we get the hole opened up. Right now, I have a pretty reasonable price. It's well below the bidding threshold, but I know Elena said that the deadline is today.
What is the price based on that you currently have?
What is what?
You said you have a price that's below the bidding threshold.
Yes.
What is that based on?
A repair clamp, excavating down and placing a repair clamp on the leak instead of cutting a piece of pipe out. The issue is the pipe changes from 24-inch to 20-inch diameter in the area where the leak is. So if the leak is on one side, it could be one type of repair. If it's on the other side of the reduction, it could be a different type of repair. So we could go from putting a repair clamp on at a cost that is reasonable, and I have a price for. I don't want to say because for bidding purposes and
Otherwise, has the procurement policy been complied with as far as quotes?
as of right now, yes.
Okay. So, my opinion is that you would proceed based on the knowledge that you have currently, and if that changes, then we reassess.
Okay. It's something that I can't really wait on because it could get worse if we allow it to.
So we can, if you have the quotes, we can move forward with it for this meeting.
Yeah.
But
I
if
have
the
one
scope
quote right now, I'm
changes,
waiting on a second quote. And
How's-
the one quote I believe is.
You,
They
we-
actually want-
he doesn't want to give out the figures. 'cause
I don't
we're
need-
waiting-
I don't need the
I'm waiting for
figure.
No,
quote. I
that
wanna
right.
Give that out and then.
But I think he's trying to make us aware of the situation, right? He has the pricing that's basically within lines of the bidding and everything, but he's just sort of making us aware that it could be quite a bit more if they run into some problems, I guess. That's
And-
unforeseen.
yeah.
We don't know that at this point.
right, so we can't put the unforeseen or the unknowing on for a resolution. All
Right,
we
yeah.
can do is, I understand that. I guess I'm just trying to figure out when we're going to have that second quote because the packets are going to be going out.
Yeah, I'm pushing contractors, but it's hard to get numbers in short notice.
The one number you have right now and those figures do require a bid. Is that correct?
No,
No,
They don't.
no.
but our procurement policy requires more than one quote.
Okay.
I can talk to you afterwards because
That's
it's right on the fringe.
Okay.
Uh, 15 is we'll have to wait till next month on that as well. It's a resolution to award contracts to do some building modifications associated with the upgrade at the water plant. This was scope that was in the original large project that we pulled out, and we're trying to use smaller contractors and break the jobs up so it's cheaper. It's building some walls and installing some doors, some more general construction type of things. And then 16 is just what I mentioned at Finance Committee. It was a resolution to authorize the third quarter 2022 corporate utility warrant that was missed on the Public Works Committee. That's all I have. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Economic Development, Historic Preservation, and Environmental Conservation Committee.
So numbers 16 and 17 are interrelated. 16 is a resolution to call for a public hearing regarding amendments to the town's code relative to abandoned properties. And 17 is a resolution to enter into a MOU with Land Bank and Schenectady County. And this is basically Schenectady County Land Bank and Metroplex have been assisting the town in the past a little bit with zombie homes. And this, the New York State, updated its its code to allow for faster turnover of vacant homes in some situations. The town enacted a code a little bit at the beginning of last year to do vacant home registration. And essentially, we're kind of wrapping this all together into an MOU where Schenectady County Land Bank can help us enact better registration of zombie homes and potentially faster turnaround so that they're not blighting the neighborhood as much. They've been great to work with. They're working on forms. They're using all of their resources to leverage what the building inspectors have to do. So I highly recommend it. Elena's been working really hard on it. I know the supervisor looked at it. I think hopefully it should help both my department and the town neighborhoods that are suffering from these vacant homes. Potentially we'd be able to turn them around a little bit faster. When they were going through the MOU and working with us in the beginning, they identified some places in our code that are inconsistent with the way that we would have to enact some of these procedures on the zombie homes. So while we were entering in the MOU, they also gave us recommendations on updating our codes. So if we can get that together, we'd like to do them both at the end of the month. Don't know if anybody has any questions on that.
So this is some new stuff that they're getting together because we've done things with them before, correct?
Yeah, they helped with 2 Cornelius. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It looks nice enough now that it may have passed into memory. But it was a pretty blighted property that was visible from Union Street right behind the American Legion there. And they helped us take that one over. And
And that took a long time.
it took a long time. Really, the only reason that is in private property's hands and being rehabilitated is because the land bank worked with us to, kind of force the hand of the owner to get rid of that property. And now it looks much better. We tried to do 1019 Van Antwerp on our own, and that didn't work out. The procedures for taking abandoned homes are really complicated, and the judge threw our case out. So having like this type of assistance from an organization that does it every day, all day long, it's what they do, and having an organization to be able to take those homes and then get them rehabilitated much faster, that's not something that town can do. We don't do that. So it would be a really good partnership so that building inspectors can still go out there and do the inspections, but it would allow them to take the properties and make them whole and beautiful again.
Okay. We have some other stuff, and I'm sure you're busy and haven't had time to work on it in your building code that you and I discussed about clearing of lots and properties and stuff like that too, right? Every day something new comes in, right?
This is
Every
the
day,
case.
every week, right? Some new wrinkle comes in. We look at our code and find out it's not the way we really would like it to be.
It's true. We can double check any of the provisions of property maintenance, but a lot of the clearing code is either in the tree code or in the zoning code. But there's a growing list of amendments that we will need to be taking care of very shortly here in some of our other sections of code. Dumpsters.
More
There's a
work,
couple other things.
more work for you, Laura.
Yeah, I know. That's all right. It all needs to be done and it's good work. And then 18 is my excitement for the season. A master's student from University of Albany, master's in planning, needs to do some real life work and connected with my office. And so I would like to appoint an intern to the planning and building department. It's very timely. We just started working on our comprehensive plan. There's a lot of initiatives going on with some of our boards. It's very rare that I get a master's student that, is willing to be an intern. So very excited about that and would like to appoint them at the end of the month so that they could start in mid-December.
Is this a paid internship?
It's paid. Yep. They have to get 315 hours by graduation in order to be able to graduate, which will work with what we have. And I do have the budget for it. I have an intern budget, which should be able to cover most of it. If for some reason it runs over a little bit, we can steal a bit from the building inspector while we're looking to hire. And then my last agenda item was a resolution to appoint a person to the Comprehensive Plan Committee. The Comprehensive Plan Committee has met a couple times, had some really great meetings. One of our totally awesome members is leaving Niskayuna. So when they move out of town, they have to resign. They might still help us, but just in order to transition. So there's another person that was interested. I think they're on our historic Preservation Committee already who is willing to step up and step in. So this resolution is to fill the vacancy of somebody moving. Thanks, guys.
Police and Public Safety Committee.
Good evening, everyone. Our first resolution is to approve an MOA with the Schenectady County Sheriff's Department regarding a part-time assignment of an officer to the Street Crimes Task Force. We talked about this a couple of meetings ago. Alina worked hard with the county attorneys to get the MOA language to what we needed it to be able to move forward. And we are hoping that we will get board approval for this. The next resolution is to appoint an animal control officer. Our current animal control officer, it's actually a dog control officer, is David Stern. David has a full-time job at Union College. This is a part-time position, as we all know. Historically, my understanding is there was a time when we had 2 part-time dog control officers. A retired member, James Walsh, who is sort of our substitute teacher for discovery clerk position, has offered to assist in this capacity as well to try to alleviate some of the burden. Because again, Dave Stern has been very busy with his full-time job, and we have a little bit of a need to have somebody be able to fill in that position. So I appreciate Jimmy stepping up to offer to help with that.
Chief, he was doing the clerk's job, right? But then he left that position.
So
right?
he still substitutes. So John Serrata is our main discovery clerk.
Yep.
John, when John needs days off, when things come up, Jimmy was just here the other day. He's still in the books. He came in, he helped out, and he assisted. Him and John just have a system where they kind of help each other out if John needs a day off or needs a vacation, right, or a time off, because it's a part-time position that doesn't have those benefits. So Jimmy would be doing a little bit of both in both
Right.
capacities. So. And then the last one is a resolution to accept grant monies from the Niskuna Community Foundation. Something we've been talking about for a while, about being light on our feet with regards to our digital traffic signs. And I can't thank Officer Ian Munger enough. He reached out to the Niskuna Community Foundation himself as a traffic liaison. He applied with help from me for that grant, and we are looking to accept a grant award of $1,230 to purchase 2 trailers, which we will then upfit 2 of the digital signs. To be able to do that, it's for folks that don't know, it's a lot to move these signs. Highway Superintendent Ray Smith, it's his favorite thing to do. He helps us as much as possible, but it's time consuming to put in a work order and have so many different resources dedicated to be able to move these and be light on your feet. And so this will give us the ability to do that without having to tie up so many resources to get more analysis on traffic. So I think it's a great thing, and I hope we're able to accept it. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to move back to the Community Programs Committee, just in case. I think there might be something Jason wanted to share.
Yeah, thank you. We'll need a tentative resolution to accept a donation from the Broken Inn. Every month, the Broken Inn chooses a local organization and donates 3% of their sales. And the Niskuna Senior Center was September's organization. So we just got the amount today. It was, I think, somewhere around $1,600. So we'll need a resolution to accept that. 1627 was it? 1,627.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Finance and General Government Committee.
Okay, we had a resolution to authorize the surplus of the scanner large format printer that has been replaced. A resolution to authorize the budgetary modifications for the end of the month. A resolution to amend the date for the December Town Board meeting to the 13th of December due to the holidays. There will be a resolution to adopt the 2023 budget in its final form. And a resolution to approve the new controlled substances and alcohol testing policies for both DOT and non-DOT covered employees who drive town vehicles.
So we're moving the meeting from the 20th of December to the 13th. Is that right?
Yes. Trying to wedge ourselves in between all of the holidays in the month of December so that we can accommodate everyone.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all we have for the agenda meeting. At this time, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 We stand adjourned.